cafeteria? The Backrooms was a school project? Oh, it's like Stranger Things. Hi, today we are reacting to the complete lore of the Backrooms solved. What's next?
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the show that knows that going onto YouTube can be like no clipping into the Backrooms. You're minding your own business when suddenly it's days later and you have no idea how you've watched so many padlock reviews.
A very, very beefy and very robust lock.
Oh, would you look at the shackle on that baby. Shout out to Lockpicking Lawyer, by the way, for teaching me way more about locks than I thought a human brain could consume. Anyway, today we're returning to the mono yellow walls and ceaseless hum-buzzing fluorescence of the Backrooms. In case you need to catch up, the Backrooms is an analog horror series here on YouTube.com created by indie filmmaker Pitfalls. The initial video Kane uploaded in January of 2022 absolutely exploded in popularity, gaining over 43 million views and becoming the 7th most watched video on YouTube of the entire year. All thanks to its unique atmosphere, clever scares, and fantastic production quality. It was also built for theorists like us, filled to the brim with awesome ideas and hidden lore for us to decode. In fact, towards the end of the year, Steph and I even gave Pitfalls a Streamy Award to honor him for all his incredible work.
This is a box that was delivered to my house.
So, Pitfalls, here. Did I just no clip into the Backrooms? Kane, I went to the Backrooms and I got you this.
I'm just so honored to be accepting this. So I guess really the only thing I can say right now is thank you.
But now here we are, 1 year later from that initial upload, now with a story that spans 4 decades of time and 15 videos, plus a few secret videos mixed in. The community has come up with a ton of ideas to explain this thing. Everything from alternative realities colliding to the Backrooms being an incarnation of the ancient Egyptian afterlife. Our running theory here is that the world that we see in the Backrooms is some sort of simulation, like a giant—
I always thought of it as some sort of simulation and stuff, not a real thing.
Video game or the Matrix. What we know of as the real world is the topmost layer of that simulation.
Yeah.
But below the surface, there's an infinite procedurally generated world of unused and cut content. Stuff that either didn't fit or just wasn't good enough to make the cut for the real world.
Yeah.
And while I still believe that to be the case, today I wanted to take a step back and reset. Backrooms is a tricky series to talk about. Nothing is presented in chronological order, and things tend to jump back and forth in time, with some earlier videos referencing events from later videos that haven't technically happened yet. Heck, the very first video that Kane ever uploaded is currently one of the last ones in the timeline. So today, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to sit down and make a definitive timeline of exactly what's happened and when, so we can get ourselves a clear overview of everything that's going on in this giant mystery that Kane's crafting. And in doing this, in seeing what fits where, and more importantly, what doesn't fit where, we'll be able to learn a lot more about this story. Spoiler alert, friends, there appears to be a massive time loop we're dealing with, and we might just be witnessing the collapse of an entire universe. Jump into those hazmat suits and hold on to the red guideline, friends. We're going in. The very first event that we see in the series actually comes from the most recent upload as I'm writing this script, Overflow. This video takes place on August 7th, 1972, as we can see thanks to the signature of a man named Ivan Beck. Over the course of this 2-minute video, we also hear a radio broadcast about the Lend-Lease Agreement, which happened between the United States and USSR in, you guessed it, 1972. We watch as an electrical or radio station is overtaken by a green glow that shakes everything violently before suddenly cutting to black. Remember that green light? It's going to be important for us later. The video ends with the night sky now mirror reflected. Something in this universe has fundamentally changed. From there, we fast forward by about a decade to the early 1980s, when a Central California-based company called Async begins researching electromagnetism. On May 10th, 1982, we see one such test of a strange electromagnetic device in the video Prototype. Over the next several years, Async would refine this prototype into Project KV-31.
It's like Stranger Things!
Otherwise known as the Low Proximity Magnetic Distortion System. On July 2nd, 1988, Async performs a failed 3rd test of the system, but it's their 6th test that really matters. On October 17th, 1989 at 5:04 p.m. Pacific, they power up the system one more time and successfully open a portal to the Backrooms. They have made first contact. However, this move has dire consequences. 5:04 p.m. was the exact time of a real-world magnitude 6.9 earthquake that hit California, killing 63 and injuring thousands more. All of this is confirmed in archival footage found in the secret video collateral.mov. And that's not the worst of it. From that point forward, the world is just glitched. Small, unseen portals into and out of the back room start popping up everywhere. People begin no-clipping through reality, never to be seen again. Starting in October of 1989, the number of missing persons reports skyrockets. This is confirmed in the video titled Missing Persons. Obvious video title is obvious. We soon learn that some of these portals are even big enough for entire cars to slip through, like we see in a secret undated video that must come from around the same period. Meanwhile, back in the lab, Async begins to send in research teams. On February 3rd of 1990, they begin their first mission. Inside the back rooms, this team of scientists discover the body of Nicholas Bolton, one of the people called out as having gone missing. Fun fact, the picture used for Bolton here is actually the senior photograph of Nathan Barnett. Interestingly, Nicholas's body is covered in what appears to be some sort of black, moldy growth. 2 days later, on February 5th, in the video autopsy report, the medical report on Bolton's body shows that it contains a mutant strain of Hay bacillus bacteria, which is slowing decay of some parts of the body while completely overtaking others. The coroner questions Async about where they found this thing.
Mr. Beck, may I ask where this subject came from?
Which Async must not have liked. During this video, a bunch of images flash across a CRT television, including one that states contract termination. Originally, I thought that this was a contract termination between Async and the US government, but I actually found a wider, clearer version of this exact image in a trailer that Kane uploaded back when the Backrooms was just a school project. And the version of that document reads, employment contract.
The Backrooms was a school project?
Termination. So I'm guessing that the doctor started asking too many questions and was let go as a result. Next up on our timeline is February 29th, 1990, and the upload informational video. Here we see Async send in another group of scientists. This is also the first appearance of actual named living characters. In the group, we have Marvin Lee and the camera operator Peter Tench. During their mission, Tench gets distracted by voices coming from an unseen party in a nearby hallway. He separates from the group briefly to investigate, but almost immediately he's met with a glitch that makes the rest of the team disappear.
Oh no!
Hey.
Knowing it, Peter has jumped forward in time. We're gonna rejoin him in a minute. But back to the rest of the team. From Async's perspective, Peter's team didn't disappear, Peter did. He just vanished into thin air. And so the rest presumably returned to headquarters to report his disappearance. We see the fallout of Peter going missing less than a week later, March 5th, 1990, in the video Motion Detected. Freaked out by an employee disappearing with no explanation, Async creates a new enclosed control room just on the other side of the Backrooms portal. They also rig up motion sensing cameras near the entrance to track everything that's coming and going throughout the space. And it's a good thing they did too, because that night at 3:53 a.m., they capture the image of a dark, blobby shape moving across the ceiling. We don't know it yet at this point in the timeline, but later we're gonna learn that this is likely a black, gooey monster made of a mutant strain of bacteria, the very same bacteria that infected Nicholas Bolton. We know this because Kane has posted a picture of the creature on his Ko-Fi account labeled Bacteria. We are definitely gonna see more from that guy later in the—
This guy is Bacteria? I always thought he was Slinky.
A little over 2 months later, on May 6th, 1990, another group of explorers are sent into the Backrooms in the video Pitfalls. This team consists of an unnamed woman, 2 men named Mark and George, and Marvin Lee, now manning the camera. The party comes across a strange room with several holes in the floor and a door across the gap. One of the men carefully crosses the expanse, opens the door, and discovers a greenish glow. Instead of just saying what he sees, he calls over to Marvin to record it.
Marvin, get the camera over here.
Across?
Just hurry.
But as Marvin tries to cross the room, he falls into one of the holes and to a lower level of the back rooms. There, he discovers an underground neighborhood complete with trees and houses and streetlights. But things are just a little bit off here. Houses are built strangely. Signs are mirror reversed. Deep inside one of the houses, Marvin finds a room where someone's clearly been living, but whoever was there, they're gone now. When he hears a voice that's crying out, he goes to investigate, only to be met with another bacteria monster. This one chasing Marvin back to the hole that he fell into.
That is not a person!
Thankfully, Marvin's team's able to pull him back to safety and he escapes. The next video report takes place immediately afterwards, with the team returning to Async's headquarters and sharing what Marvin found. This clearly concerns the Async staff, but because of the important upcoming presentation with the US government, they decide to just paper over the issue for the short term. A makeshift wall is constructed, sealing off the Pitfalls area for the time being as they further fortify their control room. 2 days later, on May 8th, 1990, we get the upload presentation, where Async hosts several government officials to pitch him a space. this, their vision for the Backrooms, an infinite storage and living solution. And they're just pitching to any old US government officials. Notice the DOE watermark. These are representatives from the Department of Energy, including this guy right here who looks a lot like James Watkins, the real-world Secretary of Energy from this time period. During a video glitch back in Pitfalls, we see reverse text that reads, "to deceive the Fede," which likely extrapolates out to deceive the federal government. I'm betting that this is text of some sort of internal memo at Async, worrying about deceiving the DOE during these negotiations. Regardless of any concern though, the presentation goes well. We see Async talking to the DOE about contracts afterwards, and one scientist confirms in a secret video that everything went according to plan.
Actually, that went perfectly. We've got all the initial signatures, and the contract should be executed by next week.
Except, there was something that didn't go quite according to plan that day. Remember Peter Tench, the Async researcher who glitched out and disappeared? Well, after witnessing his squad disappearing into thin air, Peter tried his best to get back to Async's headquarters without any sort of guideline. And he finds all sorts of weird stuff on his little adventure, including a section of wall removed to reveal a secret area with forest print wallpaper, farm equipment, and the facade of a house.
So that guy actually got so lost, he couldn't find his way back at all and instead went deeper and deeper?
Peter's able to make his way back to the Backrooms exit, discovering the new control room that Async built after his disappearance. He's able to open it with his keycard, but it sets off a motion sensing alarm inside at the exact same time that Async is in contract negotiations with the DOE. We straight up see Peter in the Async control room from a security camera's perspective in the background. Just so we're all clear about what's exactly happening here, this is over 2 months after Peter disappeared. When he glitched, he actually traveled forward in time. This really throws Async's leadership for a loop. In the hidden video recording 014, we hear a phone call between an Async researcher and his supervisor Ivan Beck, still on the same day, May 8th, 1990.
Wait, hold on. This isn't him, is it?
As this conversation continues, the image of a newspaper fades onto screen. When reversed, this headline clearly reads, "Fiery wreck beside Viney leaves one dead." Now, Viney is cut off and could refer to either a vineyard where they make wine or the town of Vineyard near Sacramento in Central California. Either way, we can gather from this headline and the tone of the conversation that Async believed Peter was dead, and that after he disappeared, they covered it up by staging a car accident so Peter's family wouldn't ask any questions.
They heckin' covered it up? Instead of looking for him, they actually covered it up?
And when Peter realizes what's happened, that he's traveled into the future and that his family thinks that he's dead, probably doesn't react all that well to it. There was likely some conflict with Async's higher-ups, which resulted in Peter either escaping the facility back into the Backrooms, or Async just launched him back into the Backrooms because he was a security risk. One way or another, Peter winds up trapped back in the Backrooms, which leads us to the next video, Reunion. It's a few weeks later, May 25th, 1990. After Marvin's encounter with the bacteria monster, Async uses a remote control rover to return to the Pitfalls room and confirm that it's safe. They send more explorers and scientists in, creating a safe walkway to the door on the other side. Of course, we still don't get to see what's behind that door. Async instead decides to send the cameraman Marvin along with Mark and another researcher to explore the area around the Pitfalls room. Now knowing that there's a dangerous creature that roams through these halls, Mark is armed with a shotgun to protect the group.
Wouldn't want to be on the other end of that.
You wouldn't want to be on the other end of any gun, Marvin.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The trio head into a new area with no ceiling lights and floors made from white concrete epoxy instead of carpets. It's here that they discover evidence that someone's been living in this area. Tiles have been knocked off of the ceiling, seemingly as a trail to follow, and a map has been etched into one of the walls. However, before the group can really speculate about what's going on, they're ambushed by someone who grabs Mark's shotgun.
Peter?
It's our old friend Peter Tench once again. He's been living back here since his escape or banishment from Async. Peter laments that Async basically took his life from him, asking if they held a funeral for him, if his family thinks that he's dead. The group confirms that yes, they did hold a funeral. Everyone thinks he's dead. Async is clearly keeping the fact that Peter Tench is alive secret from basically everyone. Despite being held at gunpoint, Mark calls for backup, only for Peter to shoot him and kill him as the video ends. At this point, we hit a pretty significant time jump.
What? That's so sad!
How could these details be in the Backrooms now? Is it another time loop situation? Maybe. Or maybe it's because these are from previous iterations of our world, of the simulation that was destabilized and collapsed into the Backrooms. In other words, the house that fell into the sea. There's a map shown in the Home 27647 video of the Ptolemaic system, a geocentric model of the universe that suggests that the Earth is the unmoving center of everything. And isn't it interesting that this very specific map that Kane chose to include in this video is very yellow? The last line, and I remember, is,
"Think of always
You have always been here. Everything revolves around the Backrooms, whether it be in a time loop or a simulation or both. It's the center of everything in the world, and Async's meddling has doomed the world to collapse into the Backrooms once again, the house to fall back into the sea once again. You
Imagine everything going back inside the Backrooms one day, and you just wake up and everything is yellow around you. That is actually crazy.
always-
Thank you for watching. Please let me know what your favorite part was. Bye-bye!